Just let me preach. Amen. Amen. Good to see you all on this rainy day. Amen. Amen. We're happy to have the General Officer Garland Pierce, who's over our Christian Education Department. This morning, we could have went to any other church in the world. But he came to share with us all the way from McCormick. All the way from McCormick to hold that type of position in our church. That's a long way from McCormick. We're just blessed and pleased that God touched his heart to come and to share worship with us this morning. Of course, I asked him, did he want to preach? Because that's what every good AME pastor does. When someone comes to share, they say they want to preach. He said, no, I didn't come to give a word. I came to heal. Lord, give me a word. Those of you with your Bibles, if you would, turn with me to Paul's letter to the church of Philippi, chapter number 4. And get his choir hand. If he came running around, I didn't even know he could talk. Philippians chapter number 4, verse 19. But my God shall supply all your needs according to his riches and glory by Christ Jesus. For a few minutes this morning, I want to talk about my God shall supply. My God shall supply. This letter that Paul writes to the church of Philippi is called the chief prison letter. The circumstances surrounding the founding of the Philippian church is in the 16th chapter of Acts. Philippians is a church born out of suffering and conflict, and is made up of people who are on the fringes of Judaism. What happened in chapter 16 is this. Paul and Silas run up on a group of women praying at the river's edge. Paul, not needing a pulpit, preaches to these women by the river. And Lydia is converted, and she and her whole household are baptized. She then convinces Paul and Silas to come to their house to stay. But on the way, they run into a woman who has a spirit of divination. Now, in case you don't know what that is, they run into a soothsayer. Y'all don't know what that is? They run into a fortune teller. Y'all ain't saying that. They run into a root doctor. You do know that some people can tell things about you by just looking at you, don't you? Yesterday, after Ms. Mack's funeral, Reverend Richburg and Reverend Moss and I went to S&S cafeteria for lunch. Well, on the way out, we were headed to the cashier. A young lady came up to me and said, I knew y'all was preachers before I saw your clergy collars. I told my husband, them preachers, because they walk like preachers. This woman sees it on Paul and Silas and starts following them, talking about these men are servants of the Most High God, who proclaims to us the way of salvation. Now the Bible says that this goes on for some days, that Paul becomes annoyed and turns to the spirit and says, not to the woman, but to the spirit in the woman, and says, I command you in the name of Jesus to come out of her. And you know the rest of the story. Paul and Silas are thrown into jail, and they start to sing and pray at midnight, and the earth quakes, and their shackles fall off, the jailhouse doors swing open. But Paul and Silas do not leave. The chief jailer, who's in charge of keeping them locked up, is converted, and His whole household is converted, and with those two incidences, you have the birth of the church at Philippi. But when Paul writes this letter, it's well after the founding of the Philippian church. Paul is now an old, sick, depressed, forgotten, imprisoned man in Rome. Forgotten by all of the churches that he had started except Philippi, who sends a man by the name of Epaphroditus bearing gifts. And I believe that explains the warmness of the letter that you see when he writes this. Out of all the churches that Paul writes to and all of the churches that he started, when he gets to be an old man, only the Philippian church remembers him. That's why whatever you do, don't do it for people. Amen. You need to do it for the Lord. Amen. Because people will forget you. Yes. Because when you're out of sight, you're out of mind. Somebody know how to preach it. So Epaphroditus brings these gifts to Paul. And what we have before us is a thank you letter to the Philippian church. The first word in the text is but. Church, if you're ever going to possess the things of God and do any great works for God, you must have yourself at the holy boldness to be able to say but. Because when God gives a vision, there will be obstacles, stumbling blocks, and even people who will try to stop you from reaching your goal. So the question becomes, do you have the confidence in the one who gave you the vision, enough confidence to say but? When God gives a vision, he also makes provision for the vision so that it can become a reality. What's more, I've learned that God does not just give visions, he also gives victory. That's why you must have the boldness to say but in the midst of doubt. The facts say you can't do it, but the statistics say that you can't do it, but tradition says you're not supposed to do it, but the reports say it won't happen, but the God I serve has the final word because we don't walk by facts, we walk by faith. The facts said that Abraham at 100 and Sarah at 75 were too old to have children, but Isaac came anyway. The facts said that there was a Red Sea in front of the children of Israel, but God parted the waters anyway. The facts said that Daniel was supposed to be eaten by the lion, but God locked the lion's jaw. The fact said that the king turned the fire up 7 times hotter from the Hebrew boy, but God took the heat out of the fire. Church, isn't it good to know that we serve a God who will take the heat out of the fire? But not only will he take the heat out of the fire, he'll come into the fire with you. Church, regardless as to the facts, and regardless as to the statistics, and regardless of other people's opinion and how things look, you got to have a holy but with God. But my God shall supply all my needs according to his riches in glory. Now I'm going to move on. The next two words in the text is my God. Somebody say my God. My God. Those two words symbolize the fact that we must have a personal relationship with him. As you battle our enemy and encounter the obstacles that are placed in your way on life's journey, in order to make it through, you have to have a personal relationship with God. I'm not talking about religion with all of its pomp and circumstance. I'm not talking about tradition and protocol and who to call and how to call. I'm talking about a personal relationship with Jesus the Christ. You see, religion will make you sing on the choir, but relationship will make you sing in the car. Religion will make you pray at the altar on Sunday morning, but relationship will make you pray in the bathroom at work when they get on your nerves. Paul said, my God. But Paul is not the only one who emphasizes a personal relationship with God. David did. David said it like this: the Lord is my shepherd. Personal. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. Personal. He leads me beside the still water. Personal. He restores my soul. Personal. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Personal. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Personal. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Somebody say personal. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of my enemy. Somebody say personal. Thou anoints my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Somebody say personal. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Somebody say personal. Your personal relationship with God helped you through some of the toughest days of your life. That's what got you through the divorce. That's what got you through the car wreck. That's what got you through the layoff and the foreclosure. That's what got you through the death of a child and the sickness of a mother. My God, that's what got you through. The next word is shall. Shall emphasizes the promises of God. Every born-again Christian ought to get excited when they hear the word shall. Somebody say shall. Yeah. You should get excited because shall is usually connected to a promise of God. Amen. When we accept Jesus as Lord and Savior, we become what's called king's kids. That means that you inherit the precious promises that God made to the family of the faithful. Paul said in chapter 4, I am fully persuaded that what God promises, he's able to deliver. Is there anybody here who believes that everything God promised, he's able to deliver? Yes. Y'all understand that? If there's anybody in here who ever battled cancer and is still here, you ought to say, I do. If there's anybody in here who's ever battled heart trouble and still here, you ought to say, I do. If there's anybody in here who's ever battled diabetes and high blood pressures and seasons